Hey, Professor Bo knows from BixenVarsity.com. My review of Gotham Episode 2's titled Selina Kyle. This episode was heavy on Selina Kyle, not so much on her background, but just like the kind of person she is. You kind of give you the insight into kind of who she is and how she is. And you also, with all the other little minor plot lines, not minor, but all the other plot lines going on, the show, this episode really picked up right where the pilot left off, which for me was a kind of a concern because sometimes when they do these pilots, the next episode and the episodes following that don't necessarily pick up where the pilot left off. So you're kind of like, what was the use of the pilot? Things have changed so much. But it seems like with Gotham, there's like a solid plan in place, and they know exactly where they want to go. And with all these minor storylines going on, it never felt crowded or overwhelmed. Because, for instance, you had this episode was about Selina Kyle, so you had street kids being kidnapped, and of course, Selina Kyle is a street kid, so she's involved with that. And you still have the Gordon, good cop, Gotham City, bad cops, like almost universal bad cops. And then you have the Renee Montoya trying to Renee Montoya, Barbara Keene, Gordon, kind of love triangle, like the ex, the bitter ex, who doesn't think the next person is good enough, and is trying to make the next person look bad, so they can look, you should have left me, kind of thing. So that's interesting. Um, and then you have, of course, you have the Cobblepot stuff going on with him leaving the city and trying to make himself better and more powerful when he comes back to take his rightful place, what he feels is his rightful place in Gotham. So you have those stuff going on. Plus, you have the Bruce Wayne stuff going on with him mourning from his parents' loss, his parents' death, and his interaction with Alfred and with Jim Gordon. So this was like a lot, but it was like almost a perfect balance in this episode. Because like you said, you had the Selina Kyle stuff, which, you had the kids being kidnapped by the lackeys of the doll maker, which is a pretty cool name drop. They're trying to get those kids out of the city so they can get the doll maker, so the doll maker can make his dolls and experiment on these kids. And of course, they took street kids, because who's going to miss street kids, especially in a city like Gotham, where they don't really care about anything. Gordon is constantly fighting the struggle to do good police work against Bullock, against his captain, against his fellow police officers. I mean, there's one scene where like the one cop doesn't show up to the murder scene he shows up after Gordon, and Gordon starts berating him. He's like, "Look, I gotta take care of the people who reach my palms. So if I'm a higher priority is that than some bum who's killed." So it's like that mentality is just throughout Gotham City Police, and so you kind of see what Gordon has to overcome eventually when he becomes a commissioner. That he's gonna have to come all over this corruption in the city. And then you have, he's fighting the captain inside and against them. So hold on, like when they figure out that, with the cool scene, because Edward Nigma comes in, and he has to be the smartest guy in the room. Like the look on his face, he's like, yeah, guess what? I got the information you guys need, and you need me to give you this information. So it was pretty cool. And they're like, what, Nigma? And he tells them, yeah, these kids were drugged. It's like the one kid was telling them. So instead of, letting people know so they can be on the lookout for what's going on, it's all about, well, perception is we can't have that headline out there, so don't tell the police. So then Gordon tells Barbara Keene, his girlfriend, fiance, and she immediately calls the press. So then when Gordon is confronted about it, when it, of course, hits the front page, Gordon's confronted about it. Gordon's like, well, I didn't say anything, and he's not lying, but at the same time, he disobeyed an order, but it was a stupid order. So it's just, you can definitely see his struggle. They eventually find the kidnappers, get the kids back, and in the stroke of genius for the mayor, who's also a dirty they decided we're going to ship all these homeless kids upstate to a juvenile facility, basically juvie hall, to get them out of Gotham, to cut crime down in Gotham, but also make him look good without having to go through the court system. So it's like, wow, like, this is not good at all. I mean, things are really, really bad in Gotham. And so you have all that stuff, and Gordon really has a lot to overcome. Like, you just see it. And then you have Renee Montoya and her partner, Christmas Allen, investigating the Oswald Cobblepot death, or disappearance, I should say, because no one knows he's dead, or they think he's dead, but he's not really dead. He's disappeared. So they're investigating the death because Renee Montoya wants to pin Cobblepot's death on Gordon. So Gordon will look bad in front of Barbara Keene, who is Renee Montoya's ex-girlfriend. So it's kind of weird there, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you know, you got all these other bad cops in the city. You're going to pick out the one who's actually a good cop because he's with your ex. So I find it to be an interesting storyline. And I'm kind of wanting to see, like, when Renee Montoya is going to come around and say, look, he's a good cop, and it's my job to support him, help him overcome all this other corruption that's in the police department. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they do that, or if it even happens. Maybe this Renee Montoya won't be like that. Maybe she'll just keep trying to drag Gordon down. You know, and that'll be two things trying to drag Gordon, stop him from being the eventual commissioner of Gotham City. And then you have Cobblepot. He's basically on the run because Gordon let him go in the last week's episode. He says, "Don't you come back to Gotham?" And then they fake his death, basically. So Cobblepot, he's like hitchhiking outside the city. These two young college kids, they pick him up. You know, they're kind of joking with him, making fun of him. And then he's kind of good-natured about it until they say he walks like a penguin. And then he busts the beer bottle that they give him, slits one guy's throat, and he takes the other guy. He kidnaps the other guy. They're driving. Cobblepot finds like a shack he can like rent out. And then he sends, this is pretty funny, he sends a hostage video, a ransom video to the kid's parents. And the parents don't believe it. They think it's a joke, that he's just trying to get money out of them or whatever. And they basically hang up on Cobblepot, which he's pissed. So basically, he's about to take out his frustration on this kid. They don't show it, but you can tell it's about to go down. You know, overall, this is a really good episode. It's really good pacing. There was a lot of stories going on, but at the same time, it wasn't nothing like. It was never like overwhelmed. You never felt like too much was going on. I mean, the end of the episode, you showed how smart and not conniving but slick Selina can be. She basically knows the system is like, look, you let me talk to Detective Gordon, or I'm gonna tell him that you touched me inappropriately. And the cop's like, what? And then so he goes to get Gordon, and Gordon's like, what? I can't do nothing for you. They're still gonna ship the kids out. And she's like, look, I saw who killed the Waynes, so let me stay, and I'll help you. So I was like, oh, so now she's revealed that she was there, and that she's been keeping her tabs on Gordon and on Bruce. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that whole dynamic works out as well. I really enjoyed this episode. I really like Gotham so far. I mean, this is two really solid episodes. Start off, I was a little worried maybe they might try to do too much with Bruce Wayne when they announced he's going to be on the show. That maybe he become too much of a focal point, but he's not. He's really in the background a lot. I mean, it's really about Gordon and the villains and who they are before they become these mass villains later. You see Nigma working for the police, and you see like his smartest guy in the room attitude. You see Cobblepot, how he's trying to raise himself up, and how he'll do anything to end up on top. And you see Selina Kyle, who has a good heart and wants to do the right thing, but at the same time will do whatever she has to do to look out for herself and those around her that she cares about. So overall, I definitely give this episode an A. So far, Gotham is an A. I'm looking for next week's episode. So I guess my review later.